Hi, I'm Ben, and this isn't really a trailer reaction, but it's my thoughts on the Madam Web trailer. I, as you can see, I'm wearing a Sonic hoodie, but I didn't really have time to get a Sonic the Hedgehog, a Spider-Man shirt, even though I should, but it's no secret on this YouTube channel that I'm a big Spider-Man fan. But yeah, I do want to talk about Madam Web. It looked very interesting. I was first introduced to Madam Web from like the 90s cartoon when I watched reruns of the 90s cartoon. And then I remember seeing more of her in like the video game Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and Ultimate Spider-Man. I think they kind of reinvented her character in other versions. But here she's teaming up with variants of Spider Women, and here's something that really kind of made me want to talk about this. I love how comic book accurate their outfits are. Like these are the most comic book accurate outfits ever. It's like cuz normally in comic book adaptations they try to make it look a bit realistic and try to make it a bit practical, but these are like the comics out of the these are like suits out of the comics. Like wow. I'm very impressed that they did that. Like any other time they would have just changed it a little bit to make it more grounded or make it more believable or realistic like other superhero costumes, but they really made it look authentic. But yeah, and it's kind of like a time travel show. Like he time travels, and I don't know if Peter Parker's gonna be in it because Uncle Ben, and he's played by that guy. I forget his name, but he's that guy, and he's gonna play Uncle Ben, and he's like an ambulance driver. I don't know if that was a thing that happened in the comics. I always know him as like the fatherly type to Peter Parker, but and Aunt May is gonna be in it. I don't know if Peter's gonna be like a baby or a child or like a little kid, but we'll have to find out. But anyways, but yeah, and so in the trailer, she seems to have like this time travel powers that try to go through different period that tries to like sees what's gonna happen. Like in the like I think she did that in the other Madam Web. I like the original Madam Web. I know she travels to multiverses. I don't know if she's gonna do it here. I have heard a lot of people are very multiverse fatigue, which kind of makes me sad. I may have said these in other posts, but I really want to say this. It kind of bums me out people saying that they're multiverse fatigue because I get why, because some of the multiverse movies weren't good and there's been a lot, but I always been a fan of the multiverse because I pointed this out years ago, but I have a Simpsons comic which is Simpsons Super Spectacular issue 2, and I love seeing Bartman and Cupcake Kid and Stretch Dude interact with each other, and I think I can get it out. Lots of Simpsons and Simpsons superheroes. I'm a big fan of the Simpsons superheroes, so yeah, don't let the light shine on it too much. But yeah, this is Simpsons Super Spectacular number 2, and I remember reading it years ago online, but I really want to get it on as a physical copy, and it's like Bart Simpson, Bartman, and Stretch Dude and Cloud Girl, and Homer's Pie Man and Cupcake Kid, and yeah, here they are, and then they travel to like they interact with each other, and they're like became like a multiverse story. In fact, this introduced me to the concept of like superhero multiverse, and I always wanted to read what kind of stories they were. But yeah, this kind of got me into wanting me to get to know more. And then Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, the video game, came out, and I really want to play that game. And then there was the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I guess you can tell, like, as a Spider-Man fan and a fan of the multiverse, that is one of my favorite movies with the Spider-Verse, with the and I love the animation, and I love comic book artwork animation like that, and I love what they did there. I watch that all the time, even when I'm up all night and I have my DVD player. I can just pop that in as one of my all-nighters and watch that and have a lot of fun. But yeah, but I don't know what's gonna happen. I heard. Oh, and I want to talk about the evil Spider-Man. I kind of looked him up. I think he's supposed to be Last Stand. I forget what his character's name, but I don't know if he's Spider-Man from another universe or another timeline. But yeah, he's like an evil version of Spider-Man, which is weird because we have lots of evil versions of Spider-Man. So I don't know what's this version. Like we got Venom, Carnage, Spider Carnage, and I wonder what this guy's deal is. But yeah, well, this is probably one of those this is basically a Sony-owned property, so it's probably one of those those Sony Spider-Man universes like Venom and Morbius without really having Spider-Man in it. But they're probably going to introduce Spider-Man in a funny way. I don't know if that's going to connect to Secret Wars. Oh, so I've been dealing with a lot of stress, but it's been hard being a fan of like the superheroes and stuff because I'm supposed to review the Marvels next week, but I heard that movie's bombing, and which kind of bums me out because I'm a big fan of superhero stuff, like as you can see here from the Marvels and DCs, but yeah, and DC isn't doing so good, and it's supposed to be Disney's and Warner Brothers 100-year anniversary, but there's been like all these controversies of both of them, and both of them not having a good year with the whole strike, writers strike and actors strike, and some of the movies aren't doing so well, getting polarizing reviews, all that woke politics a lot of people really hate online, and oh, so much. And I actually heard King the Conqueror might not be the next Avengers villain, like, because Ant-Man Wasp Quantumania didn't do that great at the box office, but you should still try. Like, you kind of set up King the Conqueror. Like, I actually heard they might use Doctor Doom, and don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see Doctor Doom in the MCU, but and Doctor Doom is like a really famous Marvel villain in the comics, but like not just a Fantastic Four villain, but a Marvel villain in general. But I think that's a great idea to do a villain, but you should still try to finish King the Conqueror's story. Like you build him up in Ant-Man Wasp Quantumania, but then you're like, let's forget him because this movie didn't do well. Like, look at Thor. I don't think Thor did that well at the box office, but everyone was still happy to see him in Avengers, and people really liked Loki from the Avengers more than Loki from the first Thor movie. But you could try that, but with the King Dynasty. But I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Sony's going to try to share the character with the MCU, or have some sort of connection just to get all the money. Yeah, but we'll have to see. Well, this movie does look pretty interesting and different. I like the costume designs, and I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Oh, and I also want to mention the What If trailer. Like, I know I should do its own video, but I am excited for the What If trailer because I think the What If trailer looks pretty cool. Like, they're actually doing a story with Tony Stark interacting with Gamora because they made a Lego set of that, and they're finally gonna make a story about that. But I wonder what's gonna happen there. And see you next time. Take care.